Hey, welcome to my third installment on affordability in the Twin Cities. In today's video, we're going to look at some specific graphs. We're going to look at foreclosure, unemployment, months supply of inventory. We're going to get into it. My name is Travis Anderson, your local real estate expert. Take a look. Just a refresher here on the affordability index. Let's start there. You can see what this graph looks like. And again, affordability is a buyer's ability to qualify for a mortgage at any moment in time based on median income, median home prices, and the interest rate. And you can see where that graph looks. Now let's take a look at our foreclosure rate. Take a look here at this graph. Foreclosures began to increase steeply in 2008, as you know, at the beginning of our Great Recession. And then look at this. Look at the foreclosure rate all of the way through 2014. Now, it was fairly high. And as you can see, we're down here. We're slightly above where we were, sort of in that peak time, 1994 to 2007. So we're a little bit higher from a foreclosure standpoint. This is a national statistic, not a Minnesota statistic, but we do fall in line with the national average. This graph is unemployment. Now, unemployment, I assume, would overlap the foreclosure rate. As you can see, as unemployment grew, the number of foreclosures grew. We sort of peaked unemployment in 2008, 2009. That's where you see that steep increase. And then so many people foreclosed on their home when they maybe could have qualified to keep it. Really, at that time, we had a lot of people, because of the prices going down so much on the home, even though they could afford their house, they were like, why would I? So that's why you see sort of a plateau for a couple of years in the foreclosures while you see a steep decline in the unemployment. Now, this graph here, we've talked about it before, but this is the closed sales in the Twin Cities. And you can see we're down here around 45,000 closed sales in the last 12 months. The only time it was lower was during that Great Recession. Otherwise, before that Great Recession or after that Great Recession, we had 50,000 plus home sales. In fact, we sort of hovered around 60,000 home sales for like a 9-year period, 8-year period, something like that. So you can see just the demand is way down today, while simultaneously the foreclosures are down and while simultaneously the unemployment is down. What are people able to negotiate in a contract? That's going to be your average percent of original sales price. What this looks like is if I've got a home price at $200,000, what's the percentage I can negotiate off that? Is it 2%? Is it 3%? Is it 4%? As you can see, we're really close to 100% right now. We're maybe floating around 99% list to sales price. During COVID, we had this huge spike where people were paying a little bit more on average than the home was asking. And then again, during the Great Recession, we were sort of way down at the bottom here. And then the last graph I like to point at is going to be our month supply of inventory. The month supply of inventory of homes, this gives us a number of months that it would take to liquidate the market. And so the higher the number, the more listings we have per buyer. So as you can see, we're way down here, sort of below like 2 months of inventory, something like that. Right before the Great Recession, we were at like 10 months of inventory. So let me put it another way. If no other home were to list in 2008, no homes listed for sale, it would take 10 months to get rid of all of the homes that were there based on the demand coming into the market. Now, flash forward to today, it would take only 2 months. And we're around that 4 and 5. We're sort of balanced. If we're below 4, we're going to be a seller's market. If we're above 5, we're going to be a buyer's market. And so we're still, from a month supply of inventory perspective, we are still considered a seller's market. From a foreclosure perspective, we're still considered a seller's market. When you look at the unemployment, we're still in a highly competitive seller's market. When you look at the closed sales, we're down. The demand is way down. 20,000 people aren't buying real estate over the last couple of years, every year. And then when you look at the average percent of sales price, you can see we're still in a seller's market. So the one thing that freaks me out is the affordability. That's the only statistic that I can see over the last couple of years since 2020, essentially. It's the only piece of data that says, hey, look, I'm going to hold off. So the reason that we're seeing a decline in demand is specifically because of median income is not keeping up with the median home price relative to the interest rate. Hey, when you're talking about affordability, there's lots of things you can talk about. We can talk about our income. We can talk about the job losses. We can talk about different industries. We can talk about interest rates, etc. And all of these factors are going to play into how we feel And really something that we're not talking about is consumer confidence. And all of the factors that we're seeing here, other than home prices and interest rates, consumers should be very confident in today's real estate market. But we're not very confident in today's real estate market. Demand is down like 30 or 40%, something like that. And the reason that demand is down is because consumer confidence is down because our incomes and the interest rates don't reflect the home price increases that we're seeing. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in tomorrow's video. If you've got questions, give me a call, give me a text, hit me up in the comments section. My name's Travis Anderson, and as always, all my best to you and yours.